I really don't know where to go from here. And what I mean by that is we're to a point where there is a fork in the road, and I don't know if America and the world can keep going like it's going. The kicking the can down the road is pretty much done for. Why? Well, today we're going to talk about what the French is saying about how they are going to war. You should listen to what they say. It's amazing how they've been able to manipulate their people to believing it. Wait till you hear what they said about sacrificing and what they're going to make their people sacrifice. Also, we're going to talk about the money here. We have ultra-rich millionaires and billionaires pulling out of crypto, pulling out of stock markets. Are we seeing a crash? And if so, what's next for the dollar? What is truly next for the dollar, especially when you started seeing companies just last week, implement digital ID like Apple? Where do we go from here? Also, can we ever get along again? We are so polarized. And the sad thing is, it's not even polarized versus left and right. It's polarized versus good versus evil. It's polarized versus Christian versus Muslim. It's polarized in areas that we can't really fathom. Things we've not seen before, because it's not really just a left-right issue. It's truly a good versus evil issue. It's a spiritual battle. Wait till you hear what Somalians are doing in Minnesota. Wait till you see what is happening in Dearborn. We are not the same. When we import the third world, we become the third world. And I think we are seeing the ramifications of 4 years of bad policy with Biden. And it's going to blow up right now. Let's discuss these things today, along with a FEMA warning, along with the NGO warning, along with Trump wanting to stop funding, but your Congress and Senate are still passing money, and that money is going to things that you didn't want it to go to. Did you know we were funding terrorists? Literally. Proven money of ours that was supposed to go to Medicaid, Medicare is going to terror. What's going on here? Let's dive into these stories because I think it's about to break loose. And the question is, are we ready for it? Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new, please go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that's okay, but let us know what you think about the content of today's video. We passed over 300,000 subscribers yesterday, so thank you so very much. We are so humbled by that. And remember, we're going to be doing not only a giveaway at the end of the month for November, but we're going to do a 300,000 subscriber giveaway. So if you are subscribed to our channels, you'll be entered into the giveaway. So you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, of course on YouTube, on any of the 3 channels. Make sure you are subscribed, because the more you're subscribed, the more you're commenting, the more you're entered into the giveaway, and we're doing thousands of dollars worth of prizes that we're going to be giving away. So please make sure to stay tuned for that. It will be between Thanksgiving and the end of the month. Now let's jump into the stories of the day, because that is why you're here. First, let's talk about what FEMA just said, because it is a bigger implication of what Trump is doing. I told you, if you remember, and if you've been watching me for a while, I said there will be a catastrophic total chaos collapse when it comes to our markets, when it comes to our money, when it comes to every aspect of our life in the Trump administration, not because of what Trump's doing, but because the funding of the government is what stabilized and held us up for so long. The government blowing crud loads of money through the Biden administration is actually why we didn't see a severe depression during the 21 to 24 years. And I said we will actually start seeing it now, because when we start cutting some of that money, you're going to realize things will have global implications. Well, let's go through some of those. Listen to what FEMA just came out and stated. And this is from Department of Homeland Security leader, of course, Kristi Noem. It says, America needs to hear this. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem just dropped a monster bombshell. She says that Democrats have built a shadow government using the web of NGOs, a coordinated network working to undermine the ultimate topple of our republic. This is not political anymore. It's a warning from the FEMA leader. Now, you're like, Colby, we know this. We know that NGOs were funding George Soros. We know that NGOs were funding a lot of things we didn't want to fund. Well, here's what you didn't know. Listen to this. Guess what? New story coming out from New York Times. Now, so this is a liberal think tank. A liberal Democratic-ran paper has to come out and say the truth. Short on cash, the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, had to take out a $15 million loan just in October to help fund some of the things that the Democrat Party was pushing and some of the platform that they were pushing and trying to get people voting. They had to borrow money. It says the DNC is literally broke. You know why they're broke? Because the NGOs and the U.S. AID funds that our government's paying for. See, the reason that Democratic Party is so quote-unquote strong was because our Senate and our Congress has been funneling money to the Democratic National Committee. The people that actually want to control us, the deep state, the establishment. The problem that we've been facing is the fact that our NGOs and our government has been giving money to the side that actually says they want to hate us and bring less freedom to us and more regulation and more taxation. So it shows that DNC was losing a lot of their money based on the fact that the funding has been cut by Trump. That's not the only thing. Listen to this story, and it's been going around crazy, and this is from William Wolf. He says, when we import the third world, we have to realize we're going to become the third world. Listen to this story that just broke with Medicaid in Somalia. Absolutely, this is one of the biggest stories that is not getting traction. Al-Shabaab, which is a terror group in Somalia, North Africa, causing harm to Christians all over now. Major problems. Listen, the money that we've been given the Somalis in Minnesota, they're actually getting $300 to $1,500 a month per child based on some of the major kickbacks that they're getting because of medicines and coverage of welfare and all this. Listen to this. It says that over 80% of that money was actually just going back to Al-Shabaab, the terror group in Somalia. So what they were doing is they were taking our money. So your tax dollars, your money for these NGOs and this USAID was basically going into the government. They were stealing your money, taking your money, then turn around and giving it to these people for them to turn around and give it to the terror groups to cause harm to Christians. See, now that we know it though, see, here's the thing. I love when people say, well, we didn't know it, so we're going to stop it now. No, your Congress and Senate knew it. Don't let them blow smoke. They knew it. And you know what else these NGOs were funding? They're giving $45 million every week. This has been going on for years. Every week to the Taliban. It hasn't stopped under the Trump administration either. We're still giving $45 to $50 million a week to Taliban, to terror group. And it's funneling through the NGOs and USAID funds. And this is the same people that the activist left is trying to stop Trump from stopping giving this money because they want to keep funneling this money. This money's not going to the people to help them. And look, Medicare, Medicaid, and EBT, all those things, see, this is how they're being abused. Could they be used for good? Yes, they were meant to be used for good, but because there's so many dirty people in Washington, and they want power so bad and money so bad, that they're willing to funnel it in. And your tax dollars now has been proven to go not only to the Taliban, but to Al-Shabaab, who is literally killing Christians all over the world, especially in Somalia. And it is a proven record that we are funneling the money to terror. And you know what? The Democrats right now, the Democrats in Washington, the Democrats in Minnesota, and also the fact that these activist judges are trying so hard to keep that fund to keep going. Now, why would they keep that money going, knowing where it was going? Because they don't want the best for us. It's good versus evil. What did I tell you? So when Trump says we're going to stop these funds, it's made the establishment and the deep state absolutely terrified and mad and furious. And now that's why you see, I think, the blow up on the right. I think Fuentes, I think Candace Owens, I think Tucker Carlson, I think they're all plants by the Democrats, because I honestly believe this. If you really want to see change, then we should all be standing against that. Why is Tucker Carlson not talking about the Somalia money, Medicaid stealing, and going back to terror groups? Why is he not talking about the Taliban money? Why is he not talking about those kind of things? He wants to talk about Ted Cruz. Now, do I like Ted Cruz? No. I mean, I think he's just like everybody else, establishment guy who's making millions of dollars off the Texans. But bottom line is, instead of going after the right, we should be going after the things like our tax dollar money, the money that we're wasting. So the more that Trump cuts, it's good for us, but the more we're going to see struggles, because then the Democrats, the deep state, the establishment is wanting to harm Trump. So we can't keep doing this. See, we've allowed for 50, 60, 70 years worth of true waste by our government for the Congress and Senate to get absolutely filthy rich along with the bureaucracy. And now that we're wanting to stop it, I don't think you can stop it, by the way, but now that we're wanting to stop it, I think they're going to take their ball and go home. Meaning, I think they're going to try to do all they can to destroy America and cause for problems. Now, let's go back to Dearborn and Somalia. We've imported these people. Biden administration, and definitely, of course, Obama, but Biden really ramped it up, his administration. And we've been putting all these people into these areas. There was a report that says Dearborn has now just become truly a Muslim capital. It's not even part of America anymore. They're, disbanding Christians out there, persecuting people on the street, conservatives and whites. If you're conservative, white, or Christian, you're gone. And they say they don't want you there. And that's in America. So when we go back to the fact of saying, do you think it's going to keep on breaking down? I do. I think that we've caused the problem, and now that we've imported this third world thing, and we're not giving money to all this stuff across the seas, I think you're going to see it get way worse. Now, before we talk about some of the things that I see is getting worse, and we're going to hear a report from a guy who lives in the UK, and what he just emailed me this morning because he saw my videos on Muslims. Wait till you hear what he says. But before we go to that, word from today's sponsor. I wanted to try it just to say, is when our phone's listening to us, the information that we put on there, how dangerous is it for us? Are we actually compromised? So I said, you know what? I'm gonna go to Google, and I'm just gonna Google one of my sister's names. So I typed in her name. All of a sudden, I start realizing my oldest sister's old address from 4 years ago was on there. Our home phone number was listed on there from when I was a kid. Not only that, it gave emails. It gave all this information. So I called her and I said, do you realize I can get all this information, probably take out a few credit cards, open new accounts? It blew her mind. I want you to try this too. I want you to go and just Google one of your family members' names. Not to be a creeper or anything, but I want you to just test my theory. Go out there and just Google. It will blow your mind at what you can find out about your family members. The sad thing about when you search, a lot of this information, a lot of these websites, a lot of the places that you go are ran by data brokers. They're getting your information, and guess what? They're sharing it with people who are not the most reputable, maybe even on the dark web. From scammers to spammers, none of these people are actually looking out for your well-being and your information. Now, here's the thing. They're not legally able to have your information if you tell them to take your information off. But I'll be honest with you. If you start looking online, you realize how many people have your information. It's almost impossible for you to go to all these companies and say, please, take my information off your sites. See, that's the benefit of my sponsor today, Aura. Aura comes alongside you. They work to do just that, to take your information away from being vulnerable, away from being compromised, from the people that want to scam you and spam you all the time. Aura identifies all the data brokers that are getting your information, and they give an opt-out clause, meaning they cannot legally have your information anymore. It's kind of like having a house and having doors and having locks and never locking the door. Aura allows you to lock the door. Give Aura just a few weeks. I promise you what you're going to see is your information is going to start being yours again. You're going to realize the spammers and scammers are going to stop. Aura also continuously monitors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they're going to make sure they let you know if it is. Also, they have a world-class VPN to keep you safe as you search the internet. Do not miss out on this opportunity to utilize Aura to benefit you and your family's safety online. Remember, let's lock the door. You can go to my link below, aura.com/themacs. It's in the description. When you click on that, you're getting a 14-day free trial. In that 14 days, you're going to realize all the benefits of what they're doing. They're going to opt your information out from being vulnerable and compromised. Check out Aura today, aura.com/themacs. Do not miss out on this opportunity to have this free trial along with your safety. Now, the reason I believe we must do something, I want you to listen to what this guy said. I'm not going to say his name because he wrote this in confidence to me on an email. It says, I'm from the UK. If you don't stop this movement going on in your cities, you're going to look like London. He said the rest of the UK is so dangerous. And he said you won't believe that they actually are telling women to wear certain garments so they will not be taken advantage of. They're actually saying that women do not go outside after sunset. They're literally they are imprisoning us in our own homes because we have allowed this to happen. He said in bold letters, do not let this happen to America because we're living in it in Europe. And because you've allowed your politicians to import this problem and to fund this problem, you are going to end up being just like us if you're not careful. We should take that and heed that word of warning to say, we see the bad funding. We see that we've imported the third world and they're not going to ever assimilate to us. Why are we doing this? It makes no sense. You don't believe how bad it is. I want you to listen to what Glenn Beck just shared. In Minneapolis, in St. Paul, Minnesota, in Minneapolis, home of now Somali Muslims population is over 90,000. So that's 90,000 now. My little town has 10 to 12,000 in it. My county has about 30,000. So you're saying 3 times my county of Somali Muslims in St. Paul, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Listen, they are now, where's ACLU and freedom from religion, all those foundations that are so evil and wicked? Listen to this. Public school systems now. Over 90,000 Muslim Somalis here. They have started building prayer rooms in the public schools. Let me say that again. Prayer rooms in public schools for Muslims to pray. Now, oh my gosh, we can't have the 10 Commandments. We're a nation set up on Christian values, Puritan values, Judeo-Christian values. No matter what you want to spend on it, we were set up on biblical principles. Biblical principles. And they've taken prayer out of schools. They've taken the Bible teaching out of school. Now, I'm only 36 or 37. I can't remember. I had biblical studies in public school. I went to a class that was full. It was biblical studies. Can't do that anymore. You can't have prayer in schools anymore. You can't have prayer on the football fields anymore. You have to be very careful in letting kids speak. They can't speak the name of Jesus. Now, you hear that in public schools. But the Somalis in Minneapolis, Minnesota, our tax dollars are paying for public schools. I now allow for Muslim prayer rooms in the schools. What if all of a sudden we came in and said, we want to put a Christian chapel. The Baptist church down the road is wanting to put a Christian chapel in your public school. You would have ACLU, Freedom from Religion. You'd have every Satanist group coming up there causing a riffraff. But we're allowing it with the Somalis? And Glenn Beck was calling it out. He was like, what? So why have we allowed for this to take place and not for Christians to have their own place too? And this is where I go back to I don't like this, like, we have freedom for all religions. No, we shouldn't have freedom for all religions. That is a lie that was told to you. That's not what the Constitution ever said. We were set up on the principles of God, the one true God. And if they're not worshiping the one true God, from the Hindus to the Buddhists to the Muslims, so whomever, then it's a cult and it should not be allowed to be worshipped, especially in taxpayer funding situations. Are you absolutely are we losing our mind here? This is why I say you're going to have to almost see a divorce or a reawakening or an absolute collapse, because we are to a point where we will not come together because of the good and evil aspect of America. Let's heed the warning of what the Great Britain guy just said. We're seeing the problems now, and if you're not careful, you're going to be the same way, where you can't tell your daughters and your wives to go out after sunset because they're going to be taken advantage of. Is that what we want, to live in a prison like that? That's exactly what they're trying to do to us. Now, last few points. I want you to listen to what the French government just told their people. He didn't tell the migrants that came in. He didn't tell the immigrants. He didn't tell that they wanted peace. I want you to listen to what he says. And this is the danger. This is the danger of big government right here. Listen to what he said. The French. This is unbelievable what he just said. This is the leader of one of their military groups. It says, the French must be prepared to lose their own children because we are looking at a fight in Russia. Now, Trump just told Ukraine, you better bend down and start worrying about trying to figure out how to get peace, because we're going to stop the intel and the missiles very soon. So he said, you better figure out peace. So while we're wanting peace, and we're wanting to stabilize and not have World War III, the French is coming out and stating their people better be ready to lose their own children. That is a direct quote. Now, he didn't say the migrants. He didn't say the people coming in illegal and we're going to let you fight for our freedom and then we'll give you rights. No, he didn't say anything about that. He said, hey, y'all come on in free. The French people who are already in their own prison because we've imported the third world, we're going to fight for those people to stay here. Your tax dollars are going to them, and by the way, we're going to send your children to war. See, this is why the globe has got to change. If not, we're going to see catastrophic events all over the world. not just America. Because there comes a point where we've got to figure out what the next step is without saying that we're going to kick the can down the road and keep doing the status quo. Because the status quo is either going to put us in more civil wars, either World War III, or a nuclear war, or mass casualty events all over our countries. But here's the thing. If we want to help people, I just want to make sure we understand this. We've given loads of money to Africa for whales. We've given loads of money to the Middle East. We've given loads of money to all these people. The Middle East is so rich with oil. North Africa, they said a lot of the African culture, and they have so much cobalt and so many rare earth minerals, so much gold, so much fertile grounds. Why are we importing those people who can't get their crap together for hundreds of years, thousands of years to actually fix their own problems? Why do we think we can fix them, or we want to import that here? Don't you believe that's going to cause the same problems here? Did you know why they said Omar Fatah didn't win the race for Minneapolis leadership? It went back to Jacob Frey, which is another joke. They said it was because of tribal clans in Somalia, and that's why some of the Somalians didn't vote for them. So now we have tribal war here because we're importing the third world. That's what happens. That's what happens when you have government funds going to things that shouldn't be going to. That's why if we want lower grocery prices, lower housing prices, lower taxes, lower cost of doing business, don't you think if we just got rid of the 20 or 30 million people here that's illegal, that's getting our government funds, wouldn't you think that would probably help us? It probably would, wouldn't it? But see, this is where we got to go back to the main point of the story. If Trump really gets his way and we start cutting all these funds, not only are you going to see the Democrats go crazy, the Republican establishment is going to go crazy too. Because they're all getting filthy rich off of really manipulating you, taking your tax dollars and giving it to all these people because of the massive kickbacks they get. Remember what Elon Musk and Marco Rubio both said? They said for every dollar we send, quote unquote send, and spend of tax dollars, only about 20 or 30% actually gets to where it's supposed to go. The other 60, 70, and 80% goes to all the people that help quote unquote get the bill passed. The lobbyists, the senators, the Congress, the bureaucracy. One day we're gonna wake up and realize that we have been taken advantage of. And like the UK guy said, like the French soldier said, we're going to send our kids to suffer and die. We're going to see our children be locked in their homes because we're allowing these things to take place. Trump has tried. I'm not saying he's perfect, by no means. I don't like the H-1B visa things. I don't like the Chinese coming in for colleges. But the sad thing is, I don't know if we can fix this now. I don't know if we can, quote unquote, assimilate and make life better. Because they don't want to assimilate with us, and it's our country, and we're giving them prayer rooms in our public schools, but we can't put the 10 Commandments up, or put a cross up, or have a Bible class. This is upside down. We're going to see catastrophic events if we're not careful. Dearborn is going through a major cleansing. I mean, they are having meltdowns right now over this Muslim-Christian feud going on. It's going to get a lot bigger than just Dearborn. You're just one spark away from something major happening. Especially when we know that our tax dollars are going to those people to then fund the people in the Middle East and in North Africa to harm Christians. What are we doing? Get rid of your Senate and your Congress because they all knew about it. They all know about it. Don't let them act like they're dumb and, oh, I didn't know anything about it. Yes, they did. That's why they're filthy rich. Get rid of them. Find better leadership, and we better do it. The kicking the can down the road is going to sink us. It's not good. Guys, let me know your thoughts on today's video. Again, it's not meant to depress you. It's meant to wake you up. Listen to the warning from the guy from the UK and the French. And, of course, Kristi Noem is saying exactly what's happening. I mean, we have the Democrats are broke now because they're not taking our government funds. And we've allowed it to keep on happening, even Republicans. Let me know your thoughts. God bless.